Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Good day, Kerry. Thanks for being with me. How are you doing today?
It's a great day here in sunny South Florida, and looking forward to this interview.
Pretty good. The only thing I actually know about Florida is from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. There was those pirate missions over there. I've never been there, but here it's an amazing place.
Yeah, well, there is some remnants of the pirate life in Fort Lauderdale. There's a restaurant on the beach which name eludes me right now, but it's basically a pirate bar, and then we had the Caribbean, and then of course Disney World pays a little tribute to it as well. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I totally missed that. The connection. But yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty cool.
yeah, yeah.
The program will be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? How did you know this was the way to go? So that's what you do for a living, Kerry.
Well, I am a professional podcaster. I've been doing it since 2010. I
Nice.
officially became a full-time podcaster on June 7th, 2011, if you could believe it. And I started just doing it because I always wanted to be on the radio. And basically, what I saw with the birth of podcasting was that radio was going to pretty much become secondary to new media, both YouTube and podcasting. And I just saw that the potential was there. Started working with mining companies, energy companies, uh, having them sponsor the show. And, before that, I was an attorney. I like to say I'm a
Very
recovering
good.
attorney. I do a little bit of stand-up comedy, and my billing is I am America's top recovering attorney. And yeah, the way I got here, it's kind of circuitous route. It always makes me think of Steve Jobs' commencement address to Stanford, where he said, when you're actually moving forward on your timeline, nothing seems to make sense. But when
Yeah.
you look back and you connect the dots, it all makes sense. And I was always into communication, always into uh, I just enjoyed public speaking for some reason. Had a successful law career, but I was always into economics, Austrian economics in particular, into the works of Mises, uh, Rothbard, Hayek, um, and a bunch of others. Kind of got into it in college. I saw a special by Milton and Rose Friedman called "Free to Choose." Now, Friedman was not what you would call a libertarian or a free market economist. I'd say you could call him a free market economist, not an Austrian economist. Um, but uh, the show, and I'll never forget it, and this is already 40 some odd years ago, pretty much covered all these places where the free market was working, building huge wealth, and then covered other places where they weren't using the free market and they were living in relative poverty right next to one another. And the prime example was Hong Kong, although there have been a number of others since then, like Singapore. And people in Hong Kong had among the highest standard of living in the world. People in China, mind you, it's 45 years ago, had almost the lowest standard of living. And and there that led me on to the Austrian economists because they were really free market first and foremost, but also libertarian. And I went to Pace University in New York. I wanted to major in economics after that, but there was a problem. Our economics department was kind of run by communists. their main
Which year?
concern was, yeah, their main preoccupation was unionizing the faculty of the school. They
Which year
failed.
was that?
This was, God, back in the late 70s, early 80s. I went there. I
Wow.
graduated in 81. And so I knew that economics wasn't going to be for me, but it started a lifelong love of economics. And Pace had a pretty decent business library. And in a corner, in a dark, musky corner, were all of these Austrian economics books. So I read Mises, Human Action, and Rothbard's books. Uh, Mises' books were difficult to understand because he used a whole different vocabulary. And back then, it wasn't so easy to look up a new word
Back
in
then
an
there wasn't
online
Google.
dictionary. Yeah, you had to look in the dictionary. And I was like, for the first like 250 pages, I'm like constantly going through it, praying things like praxeology and other terms. And I became a lifelong believer in it. I went to law school, still had this love of economics, and knew that eventually what I learned about the Austrians would come into play, but I didn't know how much longer it was going to be. In '08 and '09, we had the great financial collapse.
Yeah.
It was obvious that everything the Austrians had said had come to pass. And I said, I don't want to practice law anymore. I'm not into it. I ran a family business, a legal printing business. I was always dealing with lawyers. That was when I kind of made the transition to being a podcaster and a media, quote unquote, media personality for what that's worth. Maybe I've got 10 to 50,000 people that follow me around the world. So makes me a, somewhat notable uh, minor uh, personality, media personality.
Please make sure to send me the links and everything so that, a lot of
Yes.
that more people can follow you. I wanted to tell you a story. You probably know that because I had a guess he was a radio speaker. Yeah. Are you familiar with the story? You know those iconic red phone booths in London? You know them, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, sure.
You know the story behind them?
No, I have to confess, I don't know them.
100 something years ago, when they were established, the mailman union destroyed them all in one night because they were afraid that because of those phone booths, they will be out of a job in 1 year. I have never set foot in Great Britain in my entire life, and I am 100% convinced that right now, if I pack my bag and go, I can be a mailman. And it's fair to say that communication is a bit more developed now than what it was with those phone booths. I
Just a
don't think
little.
radio will die. Yes, the reach was rather limited. It is rather limited now, but it's just it is the way it is.
Sure.
Honestly, the only reason I have cable in my home is because the package was with the internet. I haven't watched TV in over 15 years. I'm a
Well, good for
huge
you.
Star Wars fan, and I was sitting here with a friend of mine on the couch. Star Wars came about, and he was like, that scene actually originally didn't happen that way. I said, yeah, it did. He said, no, it didn't. Listen, I have the originals right here. Do you want me to play? He said, yeah, let's play it.
Sure.
Kerry, it's been over 10, maybe 12 years since the last time I had something to play a DVD on. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I had to buy one not too long ago because there was a certain disc that somebody gave me that I had no means of being able to play,
Yeah,
and I bought one on eBay for like $15, plugged right
yeah.
into my Mac, and I was able to read it. It's still in my drawer. I do have a couple of other little artifacts like a cassette tape recorder player.
I
Um,
know about that, but I don't have one.
yeah, because I just feel like you know, like you never know when you're going to need it, you know? So So that's why I've held on to this old tech. And then I had bought one a while ago because I wanted to transcribe some old video,
Yeah,
tapes. What do you call them? VHSs.
yeah.
So I got one with a DVD and a DVD slash VCR player. So, but it's like, forget about
Now,
trying to make
luckily, here
that.
we have those copy centers because
Hmm.
if you
Yeah.
want to transfer something from a VCR to a CD, you just go over there. It's not really cheap, but if you really think about it, it's not like you're doing it every day. And you're only doing it
Yeah.
when you really have to, like family memories or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have a third question. You did kind of cover it. How did you knew this was the way to go as a third question? But the reason I'm asking is because, and I'm sure you've noticed that too over the years, people tend to go to colleges and universities because they have that stigma that once you're over there and you finish there, your life is pretty much settled,
Yeah.
which is definitely not the case. At the beginning, I thought this was an issue only for Europe, and when I started to talk to a lot of other people, it turns out it wasn't for Europe at all. And they get the first thing they can get their hands on, and they start working something related to that, but it's not really for them. End up miserable. And it's not even about the money. I know in the United States there are some expensive colleges and universities. Here in
Hmm.
Europe, most of them are like dirt poor. Like I
Yeah.
graduated a private college. I was a bartender, and I paid the whole thing, and I had spare money. So there are a few crazy expensive, but my master's degree from Denmark was completely free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not about the money because I've lost money. I personally have. I'm pretty sure you have at some point. We lose
Oh yeah.
relationships. It's just a normal part of life. I'm not about that. But when a young person, 24, 25-year-old, loses that much time and they end up with nothing, that's a bit of a problem in my book. That's actually the reason why I started this podcast. And you mentioned that you were reading, you went for economy, you were a lawyer.
Mhm.
First of all, you're a ridiculously gifted guy. You are a talented speaker, you're charismatic, you have a way with words, you can do a lot of things. Now, but you went with that one, with the podcasting, with the public speaking. What was it? Was the gut feeling? Were you influenced by someone, by something? Because it's a very specific thing. When with the skill set that you have, honestly, you could have done a lot of other things, but you chosen that one. Why was that?
For podcasting, because I always wanted to be on the radio. I thought I could have a talk radio show, but um, the problem was that back then you had to get a license,
Yeah.
and um, and
No, it's
you
more
had
complicated.
yeah, it was very complicated, and it was just easier to um, to really just do a podcast. To me, it was like I saw the handwriting on the wall that this was going to be the way to go, and that's what I wanted to do. And so, eh, and I figured if it doesn't work out, then I'll go do real estate or something, you know?
Oh yeah,
And
I know. I've been in a financial department for about 12 years now, maybe a bit more. Different companies, but basically the same type of job. But I'm a, with old school values, or I'm an old-fashioned man, and I've always believed that it's very important for a man to have his own property. So I
Mhm.
am, partially in real estate. It was 2015 or 16. I don't remember when I bought it first, but because it's not that expensive here, and rates are pretty low. Like in the European Union, it's between 1% and 2% interest rate, which is pretty
Right.
affordable.
Yeah, that's great.
So I've said it here recently, and that aside, I was also a real estate agent, but things are a bit odd now because they aren't building that many new buildings now, because
Hmm.
the war in Ukraine and stuff like that. And it has the charm of the real estate. You know what you go over there, you have to charm the client, you have to make
Yeah.
them feel special. That's no longer, here because people are looking for accommodation, period. Now I can give them a dump or a mud hut, they'd still be happy. So it kind of loses the charm, and that's why I really don't like it anymore. But in
Hmm.
general, it's pretty solid.
Well, yeah, well, there's a lot of ways to get wealthy, uh, or to
Legal.
make a good living, and real estate's probably among the easiest ways, especially if they keep inflating the currencies, which they're going to do to the bitter end.
Yeah.
Then, uh, then you want assets that you can leverage and that you can have other people pay your debt service on. And some of my best scores I've made in life have been in real estate.
A lot of people were like that. Now, personally, because inflation here is a little bit crazy, like I read a newspaper yesterday or the day before, it was this week. Like inflation was 2.9%. I like this was written by someone who's never been in a store in their entire life. What are you
Who
talking
doesn't
about
eat?
2.9? Are you crazy? No, it's not. But to fight it, it was 5, 6 years ago, I started doing it. To fight that, I'm taking 10% out of my salary and I'm putting in the investment gold. And I'm basically, buying gold for that and
That's
keeping.
great.
Yeah, because it's nasty.
Yeah.
And this is one of a good because having like a spare apartment that you can sell is pretty good, but you can't eat the apartment.
Yeah.
And I was I have a credit card and a debit card. The credit card guy expired, and I forgot to pick it up from the bank. It was Friday night, and I was like, whatever, I'll just go Monday. And I went to the ATM and I put the debit card in because I needed money, and the wretched thing swallowed it.
Oh my God.
And I literally had nothing to do. I had like no money. So I took one of those gold chips that I had and went to the mall to exchange it for some money. So it kind of works. Wasn't pleasant, but it's a pretty good
Mhm.
backup plan.
Oh, I like it, man. I like it. Well, you know, like I'm big on gold. One of our prime focuses on mining, obviously, precious metals mining, energy,
The
and
US has a lot of those I read. Like a lot of those, a lot of precious metals.
oh yeah, and it's really things are definitely hard out there, but you know you can do things that you could never do before. I'm big on
Oh yeah.
cryptocurrencies too. Very big on crypto. I
I
believe
don't understand them. I know people that make some money out of it and they make pretty good money. I simply
Mhm.
don't understand them. And maybe it's me, maybe the brain is just not working like that as it should be.
Uh,
But if I don't understand something, if I don't see it right in front of my nose, I don't do it.
I get where you're coming from, but then you need to learn it and understand it because um, I don't know if you've been following in the United States after the election, but Trump was a major supporter of cryptos and of AI, and
Very good.
he actually appointed this guy who is a billionaire. Don't ask me his name because I can't remember it. But his name eludes me. But he is the czar, uh, the AI and crypto czar. So, it's
And Trump
pretty,
was a rich guy. I think he still is. He's a billionaire.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Trump is, he's a multi-billionaire. And so really can't emphasize that enough. Like you got to
The
get
only
into
thing
it.
I know about Miss Trump is, because we studied about him in college. Now I graduated in 2010,
Uh-huh.
and he did something amazing, but you can only do it in the United States. There's no way you can try this in Europe. They will hang you before you blink. So I'm gonna use a bit of a stupid term, but it will make sense in the end.
he had a casino and he bankrupted it
Yeah,
because the
twice.
accumulation of the money at the casino were huge. By bankrupting it, he was pretty much tax-free for the next 200 years. And that was genius. That was amazing. I don't know if he came up with it. I don't know if somebody told him that because that was 30 years before I was even born. But
Hmm.
it was a great move because basically you're tax-free and now you can do whatever you want. Again, try that in the EU. Those people, this is not even. I don't know how good of a vocabulary
Well,
you gotta have to describe what they will do to you,
well,
but it kind of works in the US.
when I was an attorney before I became a recovering attorney, I actually handled several cases, minor cases, for Trump in the casinos, and got to hang out with him. And just to give you a
Nice.
funny anecdote, so me and my partner, we go up to his office in Trump Tower, and at the time, I had sold my legal printing company, and I vowed I'd never wear a tie anymore. I just wore a jacket, nice sweater, slacks. My partner was a military nut. He's wearing battle fatigues, army boots, and a ranger cap. And we walk into Trump's office, and Trump's on the phone. He's got a couple people there with him, and he's like slouched back. He liked to slouch. And
Yeah.
he sees us there, and he goes, like, looks us up and
Like
down three
Iron
or
Man
four
from the
times.
animation.
And then he goes, gets off the phone. He goes, "Are you sure you guys are lawyers? Because you don't look like any lawyers I've ever seen." And we had like the best 2 hours hanging out with him, telling jokes, talking about his cases. And, we hung out with him one other time. So everything you think you know about Donald Trump, if you're getting it from the media, it's lies. It's not true. Yes, I will tell you, I have friends who played golf with him in different benefits, and they would dread it because his favorite topic of conversation was himself. But when I met him, he wasn't like that at all. And we had a great time with him, and it was really memorable. And in fact, I just touched base with him. I sent him a little note after he won the election, and he sent me back a note that, obviously he dictated it, but that is his signature there. That's his
We,
real signature. And I could tell what he wrote in the letter
yeah.
to me that he, you know, it was from him. It wasn't just a standard form letter, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
There's some
yeah, especially
specific,
everybody has a specific way of talking. So if that's his way of talking, it's from him.
yep, yep, yep. So that was cool. And love him or hate him, believe me, I understand why people don't like him. I understand why people do like him. But you can't try to minimize what he's done. As one guy said, who was on the left, he said, like, you guys got to stop this. This guy, you think he's a moron? Well, he has the president, he has the Senate, he has the House, the Supreme Court. He's got the wealthiest person the world has ever known working for him, with him. He's got the most notable Kennedy on his team and a host of others. So, you got to stop the nonsense that he's somehow stupid or
I don't
doesn't
pay
know
much
what he's
attention to
doing.
politics, US especially, but and I didn't pay much attention to President Trump in the first term, but you have to be a special kind of stupid to think that someone like him can be stupid. First of all, do
Yeah.
you have any idea how hard and difficult it is to be a thousandaire?
Yeah.
It's not easy. You know how difficult it is to be a millionaire? It's even more difficult. And this is, I don't know where this mentality is coming from. It's pretty stupid. Like rich people have such an easy life and they don't have any problems. That's absurd. They have problems that you will never know and you will never understand because this
No.
is a completely different level. If most people, you know what, me included, if I am under that kind of a pressure, I don't want to speculate. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to speculate, but I'm pretty sure that I won't make it. So whoever said that the man was stupid, I think it was just used as an insult. I don't think they used it.
I wish I was I wish I was that stupid.
Yeah, yeah, I wish that for you and for everybody. That will clear a lot of problems. You said that he was considered, selfish and self-centered. First of all, it's next to impossible to have. I don't even talk about political stuff. I'm talking about private business stuff.
Hmm.
It's next to impossible to achieve that amount of success if your favorite topic is you. That's never going to happen, no matter where you're
Yeah.
from. People don't like that kind of people, and they like that kind of people. They're not really successful. You can't, no matter how much money you have, if you are a colossal douchebag, people will tolerate you for a while, but only
Hmm.
for a while. You
Yeah.
mentioned the media. Kerry, my career, as I've said before, started in the government sector. And there was this promising young guy. He was not a mentor of mine, but I learned a few things from him. He was at the time 38, and later on he became the deputy minister of transportation. So you don't have ministers, you have secretaries that I know. So,
Right. Same
and
thing.
then he was a minister, so basically secretary or minister, whatever, but that kind of a rank. Uh, and I was sitting next to him. I was 21, he was 38, he was already, big in his career. He was dictating what to write, how to write it, what to put in the report, not to put in the report. And then he goes out and gives a press conference, and he should have been reading from the documents that I wrote that he was dictating, and he was reading, and it was absolute lie. Like nothing of those things were in the report, but he was so convincing that I thought I was schizophrenic. I'm like, where that I wrote that 2 minutes ago, and he's reading from a has nothing compared to the truth. How is this even possible? I called him after that. I was like, what was that from? Like, oh yeah, well, I do that all the time. Like, how do you sleep at night? What is wrong with you? Like, I drink. But it was just as if I ask you, hey, Kerry, how was your week? And you'd be like, it was fine. It was something like, and you have to be a I don't hate the guy. As a Christian, I don't hate anybody. I love everybody. But you have to be a very special kind of scumbag to be in that business. I
Hmm.
have given this comparison multiple times here. You mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean. You remember that movie with Johnny Depp? He was the pirate.
Yes.
So he goes into a ship, and the pirate crew was part of that ship. They were like handling swords and stuff like that's what government operatives are like. That they're part of the building. It's ridiculous, and literally fate worse than that, man. So again, I don't know about President Trump's how he's doing or not, how he's not doing. I wish him well. I wish everybody well. But you
Sure.
can't say that such a guy is stupid. This is ridiculous. Those are crazy achievements.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not because his father was rich. He got a good start for
Yeah.
sure. But how many people you hear about who, you know, inherit tons and tons of money and they just blow it and they're broke,
Do
you
you
know?
know about the Medici castles
I mean,
in
I know
Italy?
about the castles. I don't know the story.
Well, the Medici family is pretty rich even today.
Yeah.
And they turn all the castles into museums because it's literally impossible for them to support them with electricity, heat, and everything. And
Right.
this is a pretty solid, family. So you can inherit a lot of money if you don't. My father, God may he rest in peace, always said, a dumb man doesn't need money. If you see someone stupid, don't give him money. If you're
Yeah.
smart, you will make it. Even if somebody gave you money, or you will just find a way. If you're stupid, nobody
Sure.
can give you like all the money in the world. You will blow it in one day.
Yep. Yeah. Well, my father always said if you took all the money in the world and you distributed it evenly between everybody, within weeks there'd be rich people and there'd be poor people, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Uh, because of time, I have one fourth question. I am never
Yeah.
putting it in the invitation, although if you've watched like any episode, you'd know what it is. My audience is mainly people that are sitting on a desk wondering, is this job for me or not? Sitting in lectures wondering, is this class for me or not? if you can give my audience one advice, what will it be?
Oh, gee, that's like the standard one nowadays, and it's kind of new agey, is do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. But that isn't it, because, you gotta suffer, you gotta fail. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because all success is built upon failure. And just because you might not be succeeding now, you're not a failure until you believe you're a failure. And really, nobody has to be a failure. It's simple. Uh, Success is a state of mind. It's I read one place. It's success is as important based on the things you don't do as you do. All right. Many of you out there, you're failing because you're you're self-destructing. You're doing negative things. You're talking to yourself negatively. Don't engage in negative self-talk. Only build yourself up and put all that stuff in the past. The past is the past. Learn the lessons, move on. Don't get dragged down by failures, because Edison said, they said he tried 10,000 different things for the filament in the light bulb. And they said, well, didn't you get frustrated? And he said, no, I knew like every time I found something that didn't work, I was getting that much closer to something that did work. And that's the way you have to treat your life. And money is not the only measure of success. You're better off having money than not having it. But if your life is a total nightmare, but you're wealthy, so what? So you're a wealthy, unhappy person. It's
Yeah.
better to be a middle class or poor, happy person than a wealthy, unhappy person.
Sure. I want to leave you with one story from the police academy. Saw it on Facebook recently. There's this bomb defusing squad, and they were recruiting new people to train them. And this is what they was listening, in the training rooms. Don't be afraid of failure, and because it's a bomb defusing squad, you can have a bit of one mistake.
Yeah, that's a case where failure really can do you in.
Yeah.
And you only get it one shot.
And with
That's
that
fun.
said, Kerry, thanks for being with me, man. Please
All
don't
right.
forget to give me all the links and everything. And
All
I'll
set.
put it in the list.
All right. Thank you so
Well,
much, Danny.
Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.